for joining us on the news in Africa and the world. We begin in health, where the Southern African country of Lesotho has recorded its first coronavirus case, according to a press release, becoming the last nation on the continent to confirm an infection. The Health Ministry confirmed the case after conducting 597 tests on travelers from neighboring South Africa and Saudi Arabia, of which one was positive, while the results of 301 are still pending. The patient is a Lesotho national studying in Saudi Arabia. With the expiration of an initial 3-week nationwide lockdown, Lesotho Prime Minister Thomas Thabane loosened the coronavirus prevention measure on May 6, allowing all non-essential services to temporarily open their shops. Liberty and freedom of movement is what protesters in several cities in Guinea are demanding, angry at coronavirus lockdown measures restricting them from traveling in and out of the capital Conakry to earn a living. They blocked roads and set fire on police vehicles and several checkpoints built to try and contain the spread of COVID-19. For the protesters, no work means no food, and they might end up dying of hunger. Security forces responded to the violence by firing at the protesters. At least 6 people were killed in towns near the capital Conakry. Guinea is one of the worst hit countries by the virus in West Africa. The government says the emergency measures are necessary as dealing with other diseases like Ebola outbreak, which killed thousands of people some years back. Also, crowds of voters packed into rallies as candidates for Burundi's presidential election ramp up campaigning ahead of next week's vote. Voters will be choosing a replacement for Pierre Nkurunziza, who will be stepping down after 15 years in office. His re-election in 2015 triggered years of unrest as opposition figures said that his running for a third term was unconstitutional. Following a bombing in Bujumbura last Sunday, there are mounting fears that the upcoming polls could turn violent. Both men running for the top job have strong followings. Tensions have been running high between the ruling party supporters and those of the main opposition movement, the CNL of Agathon Rwasa. Sudan has rejected an Ethiopian proposal to sign an initial agreement greenlighting the filing of a controversial mega dam, calling its neighbor to resume the stalled United States brokered negotiations on the project. According to a statement, Sudan's Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok sent a letter to his Ethiopian correlative Abiy Ahmed disapproving of an Addis Ababa proposal on an agreement over the dam's first filing. The agreement must incorporate a mechanism and exchange of information and the safety of the dam and its environmental and social impact, Hamdok said. In a letter to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, Hamdok stressed the need to reach an agreement among Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia before the project's completion. He urged the parties to resume talks immediately. Out of Africa, in the latest escalation of tensions between Washington and Beijing over the coronavirus pandemic, United States agencies warn China is attempting to steal vital coronavirus research by hacking U.S. groups studying the disease. In a warning, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, said they were investigating and targeting the compromise of U.S. research groups by the People's Republic of China and its affiliates, and warned the illicit campaign could jeopardize the delivery of the treatment. The pandemic has worsened tensions between the countries, which have both accused each other of failing to contain the outbreak of the coronavirus. In Lebanon, the government has ordered most of the country to shut down again for 4 days. That began on Wednesday night in an effort to avert resurgence of coronavirus after relaxing some restrictions. The country has been locked out since mid-March to rein in an outbreak that has infected 870 people and killed 26. Lebanon started lifting restrictions last week as part of a longer-term plan, leaving restaurants, hair salons, construction sites and other to reopen at lower capacity. The cabinet agreed on the full closure for 4 days to curb a rise in new infections in recent days after a drop in cases that the government had hailed as a success. The government is set to re-evaluate its original 5-stage plan for gradually reopening the economy. The U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo Wednesday wrapped up a day-long trip to Israel where he met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Benny Gantz to discuss the country's plan to annex part of the West Bank as Israel's troops shot and killed a Palestinian teen in a clash with stone throwers in the occupied territory. The trip by Pompeo is the first by a senior diplomatic figure to Jerusalem since Israel effectively shut its borders to all most non-nationals. The leader said their talks will focus on shared concerns about Iran, the battle against the coronavirus, and Israel's incoming government. EU foreign ministries will meet this Friday to discuss the issue if Israel breaks international law by unilaterally claiming sovereignty over the land it occupies. Still in Israel, the unity government agreed between former army chief Benny Gantz and veteran right-wing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is due to be sworn in this Thursday evening, ending more than a year of political deadlock. Former Israeli army chief Gabi Ashkenazi, who spent nearly 4 decades in the military, will be nominated as Israel's next foreign minister. Ashkenazi held talks with U.S. Secretary Mike Pompeo ahead of his appointment as Minister of Foreign Affairs, said his Blue and White alliance, the government which according to the coalition government will see Gantz replaced Netanyahu as Prime Minister after 18 months. The swearing in of the new Knesset will begin today at 6 p.m. That said, thanks for watching and do so again if you can. Do take care.